Am I live now? Okay. I'm I feel so silly. I did this whole like talk for like 50 minutes. I was live on like my client. Uh I was live on my like streaming application for the whole time I was doing this. But I didn't actually like goodness. Okay. I didn't actually go live on the damn studio, so I didn't. Oh, okay. That is annoying. That is annoying. Well, it makes sense why there's no damn talking in the chat because I just wasn't live this whole time. That is really annoying. I don't know, should I do another at the Discord server? That's what I'm wondering. I'm not too sure. Yeah, alright. I'm gonna have to make sure to... Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to make sure I actually go live on Studio next time because I was streaming on the application for like an hour and I didn't even realize that I wasn't actually like live on my damn on the damn YouTube studio, so I wasn't actually like displaying for anyone or going live for anyone. That is very silly. Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to go over that again. So what I've been talking about this whole time and what was supposed to be the point of this stream is that I wanted to talk about possible reworks to the overall systems of Heaven or Hell, and these very experimental ideas that I'm not sure I'm ever going to actually like release, but I wanted to talk about them on stream because I have a lot of ideas and I like to talk about them. I want to see what people think. But yeah, the very basic idea of it is that the game would be more turn-based in structure than before. More so following the line of Exceed by Level 99 Games than Heaven or Hell like I was beforehand. The idea, like how that would run, is that, you know, after whatever initial roll or coin flip or whatever determines who goes first, like in the trading card game, the player of the initiative could take a basic action, could move, they could charge up the next attack, they could go for a grab, they could block, or the big important one is that they could go for a attack, go for the assault action, which would return the game to the normal like betting attacks against each other phase that you would expect from Heaven or Hell, the normal Heaven or Hell game loop. And after they take that action, whether or not it is assault or move or whatever, they would pass the initiative over to the opponent and the opponent could do the same. The main purpose of this change, the main reason why I'm doing all of that, or why I might be doing all of that, why I'm thinking of all of that, is because really I've never been able to get like these value options, these more setup options that are supposed to be low risk to work in Heaven or Hell. They've always had these weird issues and these weird interactions with their attacks, I've tried to give them a bunch of different tags, a bunch of different like ways to get that to work, and it's never worked out. But I've been playing a lot of Exceed recently, and that game, with its boost cards, sort of achieves that effect that I've wanted to have this whole time so cleanly, and I want to see like if I can replicate that feeling and get that sort of system into Heaven or Hell, because I think it would just make the game so much better. That is the basic idea. Is that I want to try an experimental sort of version of the game where it is turn-based and you go through the game at that pace. And for the rest of this stream, you found it mostly worked out. Do you mean just like utility actions in current Heaven or Hell? Is that what you mean by mostly worked out? Or do you mean like, I assume that's what you're talking about. But yeah, like there have been like useful utility actions, and utility actions aren't terrible in current Heaven or Hell or anything, and I'm not claiming that. But the issue is, especially if you are like a newer player and you might not know the exact situations where you are safe to take a slower action, like Bastard's stunning glare, you can get blown up so easily. It's so very risky to take different actions that are supposed to provide long-term value or things like that. Things that used to be, or sometimes are now, paired with low commitment. That is really what low commitment was for. That tag is supposed to solve that problem. And before the current version, the other issue was that a lot of the times it was too good. It was incredibly strong to have a low commitment option, because you could use it to sort of cover the possibility of you getting blown out for using a different option other than that low commitment. You could hedge your bets and almost take two actions at once. And with even before that, there was the like instant or like high speed actions, which basically work how they do now, but just in a way, or basically work as if you were in a turn-based game, but you could take multiple turns in a row, because high speed actions basically as soon as they were revealed did their effect, and then your opponent couldn't do anything to like stop that, and then you just went back to regular turn, which was also too good. And there are just all of these weird situations and things I had to work around with low commitment and these like different types of action tags. And I really want to at least high speed or instant or whatever it was called was not good. It was hell. It was not a tag that should exist in the game. And that is why I want to try these like turn-based rules. I want to see if they work out. But it's gonna take a lot of work if I want to get it done, and I can't be certain that this experimental version will be released. I want to at least do this video to talk about my ideas for it though. And yeah, actually getting into these actions right now, there are 4, and I think this will, other than assault, which is just like doing attacks, doing your regular like combat as you'd expect in Heaven or Hell, right? The 4 basic actions are move, which, you know, it's self-explanatory. You can move up to 2 spaces. It doesn't have any other effect. When you do it, you pass initiative over your opponent, and attempting to move over your opponent is 2 spaces, but you can do it. There is focus, which is, I also think move should give you speed hope. I want to have one basic action that gives you hope for every stat. At least. There is grabbing something you can just do is kind of scary. Yes, I do want to talk about that. That is one of the points I want to bring up. There's focus, which is just you do more damage, you gain a bit of hope. It is supposed to like fill in for turns where you don't want to like take the risk to do an attack, but you also don't want to like move. You're in a good position. Grab, which I think is very interesting. Grab is not maybe what you would expect. It is not just like you do grab and then you hit them if you're adjacent to them and they're not airborne. Instead, grab is this sort of like ante you can set with your opponent. You can spend whatever amount of hope. I'm not sure if this is going to be like spend any amount, your opponent has to match it, or spend like 3 flat. And your opponent, this is only if you're adjacent of course, and your opponent can also spend that amount of hope to clash with your grab, to grab tech. This is sort of supposed to represent the way grabs work in a lot of anime fighters, like the new Grand Blue beta that came out, Blaze Blue, where grabs are like kind of easy to react to. They give you a lot of time. Dragon Ball is this way. But of course they still are like an unblockable option. They're still powerful. This is, of course, just to make it so you don't have a way to deal damage that is completely impossible to beat, something that is completely unopposed. Which grab would be if I just made it an action that just like did damage to your opponent even if they're blocking, right? It also does the classic grab thing of moving them behind you and then pushing them. This is also to make sure that you can't just do like infinite grab loops if your opponent has like low hope or whatever, and like grab, put them behind you, grab, put them behind you, grab, put them behind you. The push is meant to prevent that. You have to find a way to get back in after that. And then there is assault. Oh, I completely missed block. I don't know what I was doing that for. And then there's block, which I think is the other like most interesting idea I've had for this change for this system. Block, I think, is misinterpreted by a lot of players of fighting games to be like a thing that you react with, something that you do like in the moment, in the scramble. And I don't think that's true like at all, really. I think that's completely wrong. Grab is something, or blocking is something that is safe to do and is done preemptively to stop attacks that are coming at you, to stop an aggressive opponent. And this interpretation of that, rather than the parry of the old system, is meant to represent that. If there's an assault next turn, so if your opponent assaults you, of course the next turn is always going to be your opponent's turn if you're taking this action. You don't respond with your own attack when you are getting attacked. Instead, you reveal a dice with your block value on it, and that block value reduces the damage you are taking from the attack, and there'll also be tags that are disabled when you are blocked. So things like link and combo are going to be like if you resolve a technique that wasn't blocked, instead of just being when you resolve a technique. There's some things that would still apply, like I think cross would still apply. Shatter, of course, is supposed to be anti-block, or whatever. All of these different things. I'm not sure if Shadow would still exist if this is. I'd have to look at it, but that's for later. For now, yeah, block is a way for you to basically like take less risks and not lose the situation, but you can never win when you block. You would probably gain hope, along with that gain forward hope. I should probably move this to the front like the other ones. But the main thing that I want to try, that I think would be interesting with this, is mix-ups. It's something that doesn't really exist in current Dawn, but the reason why I gave you the option to reduce the damage you're taking by like a value of your choice rather than just like 10, because why not just always choose 10? Is because I wanted to introduce a tag that was like the mix-up tag or the low tag or something. I'm not sure what I would call it, but the idea is that if your opponent did more block than you did than your tag's value, so if you had like mix-up 7, if your opponent did block 8, block 9, or block 10, then you would ignore that block and, like, you know, you mix them up, you get through their guard. And that's something I think is really interesting, and that I sort of tried in my Guilty Gear card game that I did not too long ago, and I'm still, like, sometimes throwing cards into, that I think would be a really interesting way to do that system. It's something that I haven't seen in any other, like, fighting tabletop games, that I think is, like, this really big opportunity to go into, and allows me to create a lot more ideas with it. And then there is Assault, which is regular attack rules. This is just like the turn rules from the old game. They're now the Assault rules. The main difference I think I'd want to change is that there's no real, because of these actions, there is no real way or no real reason to have the 2 other action types of defense and utility. Because most of the basic actions you're going to have access to are attacks. Most of the other options you had before would be gone because they'd be replaced with these other things. You can still sort of serve the function with just one category of action. Like, if you just have, if you have everything follow the attack rules, and you just have counters or whatever, be like attacks that don't deal damage and have armor, and are like, if you took damage before this resolves, you do an extra effect. That is how it works in like Battle of the Continent and Exceed. And I've realized why those games didn't introduce a rock paper scissors type system is because it's incredibly volatile and hard to work around. If I simplify it down to just being like attacks, then I have a lot more ways that I can sort of mess with that system without completely breaking the game, like sometimes happened before. And yeah, I think that is a good place to start with, like, the editing of the book. Now that you've missed a lot of it, I'm going to start just editing this section to try to fit the thing. I think I'm just gonna start with F. Or, okay, no. I'll leave it as name technique. I was thinking of changing the name techniques to just attacks to consolidate everything, but this is just completely wrong. This is not how it's supposed to be written. If in attack could be voided by distance, what the hell? I think it's supposed to be an attack. As well as this is. I was put if it could be avoided by distance, it is voided before checking anything else. Now I can just get rid of every instance of things talking about types. Like this doesn't need to exist. This diagram doesn't need to exist. This doesn't need to exist. This can just be this. Throw has their technique, because there's no types now. Technique. The techniques. And this, oh my goodness. This could just be simplified down to this section, really. Action phase. I can actually just bring this down. Bring this up here, since it's being consolidated so much. And phase 1, phase 2, phase next, this should be capitalized. this can just be put as there it is. This to go first is decided by the hope both players have. I just get rid of this whole sentence. The sentence is a nothing sentence. It doesn't actually tell you anything. The player's techniques are resolved so long as they haven't been voided. They haven't been voided, yeah. So yeah, with this version of the game, I can simplify this rule section down quite a lot. This one here is in this phase. This one, characters may be able to resolve an additional technique through attack like combo length. The user haven't been voided. If neither, that is not a word. Neither? Yes, neither. Phonetic. You has been voided. Both are resolved. This section has always been super messy, so this edit might carry over even if I don't end up doing these changes, because a lot of these sentences are like so hard to read. Are resolved. Well, how would I even phrase this? Triggering their resolve, their on resolve effects, comma, so long as they haven't blah, 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 blah. If undertaking has unvoided, both can resolve one after another, starting with the player who has the most hope. What can you do as I'm just attacking to encounter since all two issues mean nothing when they block? I think the mix really is just going to be what attacks are you choosing, right? Because like there are a lot, because it's no longer going to be just like sort of presented as rock paper scissors of you have defense, you have whatever, right? Instead it would be decisions like say you're at, let's go to the owlbear page. Say you're at range or distance 0 with your opponent, right? You're right next to each other. And you know that they know, that you know that they know, that you know that they know, that both of you have access to your light flurry. You both have, your fastest option is light flurry in terms of like, you have no replacements or archetype specific techniques that are faster than light flurry. So at this range, both of you are like, okay, we both know that is sort of the prime option. Speed is important, having that is important, but let's say into the universal actions or the universal options is added a universal armored move, right? So you're like, okay, I could go for light flurry, or if I know that they're gonna light flurry, I can go for the focus attack, whatever I end up calling it, the universal like armored option that lets me sort of punch through and get a more damage on them on average, and maybe like I'll push them away or something, and it changes the position so that next time you assault there is a different like rock paper scissors happening. But then they're like, oh, I know that they know that I have this and they have this, so I will go for like Fear Strike, which let's say has like a universal counter to armored, like it has like Shatter, and Shatter breaks armored or whatever. And you're like, okay, I'll predict that they're going to predict that I'm going to be using Light Flurry, so I'm going to be doing Focus Strike, or like the focus attack, and then I'm gonna do the big heavy move that will break the armor, and then they just do Light Flurry anyway, and they hit you out of it because you're slower. It would be decisions. The assault decisions would be things like that, going off of like your tags and going off of what counters what with those tags, rather than just like, I'm going to do this because rock, paper, scissors. I'm going to do parry because I think they're going to attack, right? And I imagine if you're asking specifically what would be the counter to counters or like big slow armored moves, there would still be tags that like overpower like armored moves. There'd be tags that are like you ignore armor, you ignore counters, because counters would just be like slow armor moves with effects. I'm gonna take 1 second to just get myself some water because my throat is very dry. It's been like an hour 30 minutes, or an hour 20 minutes of me doing the stream, even though unfortunately the stream wasn't live while I was first talking, so I'm gonna need a bit of water. When you still take damage due to armor, yeah, but the idea is that those armored moves would have more reward against light attacks than they would, so you'd be winning. But yeah, just 1 second. Alright, sorry, I'm back. But yeah, this is actually like the thing that I find really interesting about developing these kinds of games. This discussion of like the different individual rock, paper, scissors situations that you find yourself in. There we go. And I think of my little cat avatar might have been broken there for a second. But yeah, I think actually, now that you bring it up, that is something that would be good to work on right now. Instead of doing these boring technical editings of the rules, I would really like to work on the universal technique, because I was actually having a big issue with this and how I wanted to make the new basic rock, paper, scissors that comes with the universal techniques. Which I think is going to start with me working on the tags, actually, because I need new tags to make the new universal techniques work. Everything's linked together. So, I think first of all, I want to go over the techniques that don't make sense anymore and are going to need changes. Airborne, it works. Airborne is still important. Amplify, it works. Amplify is still important. armored, it works. I think it's going to be even more important. That should stay the same. Oh, wait, no. But we need to be changed a level because I don't think overpowered is going to exist anymore. I think instead I want to make it so if the opponent is using shatter attack, this is negated. A shatter. Combo still works, still going to work the same, I imagine. I could change the combo to be like the thing I'm working on for price/power, but I don't need to do that. Even if I'm changing the system, that's like something that's just gonna be an unnecessary change and will make it too different, I think. Cooldown still makes sense. Yeah, it still works. It's gonna be slightly different because of how turns work, but cooldown still makes sense. Cross-up still makes sense, keep that the same. Cumbersome still makes sense, let's keep that the same. High commitment and low commitment, I think their functions are going to be replaced by the turn system. Link, yeah, makes sense, keep it the same. Lingering is going to have a huge change, actually. This is one of the things that I was thinking of when I was thinking of the changes overall. I'm just going to rewrite this whole section because lingering is one of those things that were really, really complicated because of how the turn system worked, and I want to change slightly. Lingering, I think I'm just going to change to this tech. Actually, no. I can keep some of the old text. Rewriting this whole thing is going to be dumb. This first section of just how lingering moves and how it is created can stay exactly the same. This is actually fine. But when it hits, I wanted to do different things. When a character moves into a lingering marker, or vice versa. So if a lingering marker moves into you, is what I was saying, any of their current, any movement they are taking will stop, and they will be inflicted with that is not the right there. They are oh, there already is an R. What am I talking about? Get rid of that R. Inflicted with a. How is lingering hard with the old system? The way that lingering resolved in the this is mostly assuming both players have the same hope. When anti-R would be much more effective with higher hope. Yeah, with higher hope, anti-armor moves would be much more effective because they'd be safer against like mid-hope or maybe even low priority moves. That makes total sense. The rubber scissors totally changes depending on how much hope you have. How's lingering hard with the old system? I think that lingering, the way it resolved with certain techniques was just way too complicated in terms of order of operations, right? It was moved around a ton, and there were times where, like, say you were wanting to hit someone with a move, but a lingering token was going to come in and push them out of the way beforehand. You had to figure out, like, the spacing that they'd be in after. You'd have to figure out, oh, is my resolve effect or my reveal effect going to be stopped by them being in that position? Do I have to, like, try to find a way to move after my thing resolves in order to hit them? And it created a lot of, like, edge case scenarios. So I'm thinking that this isn't actually like a huge change, just that they'll be inflicted with the on resolve effect of the technique. Just like kind of a slight change of just being like, as soon as you move into the space, your movement is stopped and the technique resolve effect happens. There isn't like a separate phase, it just happens to you. And this is partially okay because with the block that is in the new like basic actions, I was supposed to move down, not up. With the block, it reduces all incoming damage on that turn. So when you block, it's going to be much more simple interacting with lingering than before. Where before, lingering was like, had to have a specific like call out for like when you were interacting with the defense techniques. It was less so like hard on like the players, but just like it took a lot of words to explain. So with this, I can reduce the amount of words it takes. Overpower. I think this will still work, but overpower is just going to be like, it's going to be overpowering specific tags, right? So it's like, I mean, I don't know. Do I need overpower? I think overpower might be a bit ham-fisted with these changes. Because you're not going to need overpower for specific, like, types. You could just use it for tags and stuff. But if grabs are going to be altered, they don't need overpower anymore. Does anything really need overpower? Because a lot of the situations that overpower would be used for are I'm already accounting for with different tags. Like, shatter is going to be stopping armored. Things like that. I think I'm going to try to see what I can do without overpower. If it needs to come back, it needs to come back, but let's see how it goes. Priority, oh my goodness, obviously is incredibly important. Priority, still going to be there. Let me just move stuff over here. Ranged, yeah, it's simple. It's a tag not necessary. Replace, yeah, that works. Weak, yeah, that works. Slow, yeah, that works. Shatter, I think I need to change it. When this technique would be... When this technique... When this technique would be revealed against a blocking player, a blocking opponent, I guess, it causes a clash. Clash with those ones. Yeah, that makes sense. Just need to change the wording slightly. And also, I added the thing on armored that says it's beaten by shatter. I'm also gonna just change the way that this is formatted a wee bit. Make it so weak is on the next page. Give some more breathing room on the bottom half of here. There we go. Ultimate, yep, I still am fine with that working the same. Unsafe, yeah. I wanted to put avoided or resolved against a blocking opponent. Yeah, vulnerable's not needed if I'm not using overpower. And I also said I wanted to make it so you can't combo when someone's blocking. After this resolves, unblocked. That was weird. Resolves against a... Resolves... How do I want to word this again? Without being blocked, I think. Where is Link? Just add that to Link and to combo. I think that's it. I think that's all that needs to be changed. And then the other thing I wanted to add, which I want to introduce onto at least one of the basic techniques, I think, is mix-up a dumb name for the tag? I think mix-up is fine. If I want to change, I can do it later. I'm also not gonna... Or even is M alphabetically? I can't. I'm really bad with this. This is like the one thing that I'm worst at when it comes to writing. Figuring out alphabetical orders. It's after L, so it should be here. Mix up. I don't want to use like fighting game terms too much because I want it to. I want the game to be like readable and understandable at a first glance by someone who doesn't know fighting games. So maybe mix-up is a bad term, but I'm gonna keep it as a placeholder for now. If this technique would resolve against a blocking opponent, you may ignore their block so long as their block value is higher than X. I forgot to put the X here, but it's supposed to be mix up X. Also, this needed to be moved up a thing. It's a bit weird now, but it works. But yeah, that is I think those are all of the changes that I can think of right now that what I would want to make to the tags. Is there a better name for mix-up I can think of? Let me think. Undercut? Because you want to get under their block value? I'm not sure. I have to think about it. It's like sweep or low is also like an accurate term. I'm not too sure. I'd have to think about it. Let's keep those mix up for now. And now with these new tags, I can slam them onto new universal techniques. I think the big thing is, let's give this 2 range for now, as this is effectively going to be like a 3 range. No, this would be 2 range, so. Alright. I think the way I want to develop the universal techniques now is I think let's go for 4 to 6. I'm not sure how many, but something that makes a effective rock, paper, scissors at 0 distance, 1 distance, and 2 distance. 3 distance feels like you're gonna have to build out with your character, like something for that range. That is something that I don't really want to be fighting at. I think this far should be like the furthest distance that by default that you are threatened at. I feel like being threatened at this distance is a bit silly. And with that, let's start at range 1. The mix-up I was already talking about is something that I just put on here for now. The idea of there being a fastest default option with good reward. So Light Flurry already fills in that role. And then there being a like slower armored attack to be used at 1 distance. So let's say I'm not sure if I want to use the word focus attack. Stalwart. Stalwart charge. That's what I'm going to call it. Let's have Stalwart charge be a on reveal, close 1 distance, no combo, no priority, armored. I don't even know if it needs to be slow, because, like, it is already slow by default by being, like... No, let's make it slow. I'll make it slow, too. Is it slow or slowed? How do I write the tag? It is just slow. Okay, so... Something I somehow didn't account for is that damage is like all the same in Heaven or Hell, because of the way it scales up with stats. So how do I make this have higher reward than Light Flurry? And make it like a solid Light Flurry counter. No, I don't need to make it, I don't need to make it like you can't be moved because it does close you 1 distance. Wait, no, because that's gonna happen after the reveal. Oh, goodness, order of operations is always fucked up. Because in the current version, the issue is that Light Flurry pushes you, right? So if you're armored, I think this is something we've brought up before, actually. But if you are armored and slower than Light Flurry, you're gonna get punched, you're gonna get pushed back, and then you're not gonna be able to hit them. And because the order of operations that you do your reveal, they do their reveal, and then you do resolve. Well, okay, instead of closing this, let's just have the reveal be, you cannot be moved this turn. Just completely cop the focus from Exceed. I guess the thing that would make the most sense, right, is I just make it so you gain more hope than Light Flurry. Like, gain 5 hope, instead of gain 3 hope. So, if you, assuming you both have the same, like, stat spread, and let's make this, fortitude power, of, like, you have your main thing at 10, second thing at 8, or whatever. So, you both do the same average damage to each other, but you gain more hope if you're the one doing Stalwart charge. So... we've got rock, and we've got paper here. Now we need scissors. For the last one, like I said before, I want to do something that breaks armor. And now the thing I'm thinking of is, do I want it to be that Fierce Strike breaks armor? That might work. Especially if I make it so that Leaping Blow is the combo 1 filler. Let's get rid of this table for now. I'll have Fierce Strike break armor. And because Leaping Blow already is doing the Fierce Strike thing of being the combo 1 standard option, I can make it so that instead of combo 1 has Shatter. That way you still have a default combo 1, you still have a default combo 2. But Fierce Strike exists to counter out. Let me change the numbers so that that makes sense. Counter out Stalwart charge. Charge is not a good word for this. What is another hit word? Stalwart strike. There we go. Wait, no, I already used strike. Fuck. Blow, strike, flurry. Slam? I'm just gonna keep it as Stalwart charge. Okay, that's fine. It's a placeholder. Sweet power, forward power, power, and another sweet power. Yeah, Fierce Strike would beat out the armor through shattering, but it would lose to Light Flurry because it has no defensive thing and doesn't have priority. Assuming that you are the person that you are at equal hope. At higher hope, how does this work out? At higher hope, say this is like, say your hope is like 10 to 5. You have a 5 hope advantage. That goes above any source of priority here. And you're at range 1. At range 1, you always want a Fear Strike, right? Well, no, because Fear Strike doesn't have combo, so it's less reward. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah. So even if you're at higher hope, you might want to go for Light Flurry to get the more combo. But it's just safer for you to go for Fear Strike. Okay, actually that's really interesting. I really like that. And this is also assuming that no one is blocking in this situation. If someone is blocking in this situation, then that is why I want to give Leaping Blow, Combo 1, Airborne, and also Mix Up, let's say 5. So if your opponent goes for 6 block or more, then Leaping Blow mixes them up. Wait, no, because we don't even know if we're gonna do like D8 or something. Let's go with like Mix Up 3. Now the other thing I'm not too sure about Mix Up is if I want to make it, is how I want to word it, because it's weird to me right now that Mix Up is stronger the lower the number is, because normally, you know, like big number good. I'm also not sure if I want to give any of the starting things 3 tags. But I think this makes sense. So, okay, I think this is interesting. At range 1, you have, assuming you're at equal hope, you both really like Light Flurry, because priority 3 is incredibly valuable for people who have equal hope. It makes you beat out the other options as long as they don't have armored. But there's universal armored option with stalwart charge. So that is the initial sort of like counter there, as if you hit it, you gain more hope, you get a better advantage state than your opponent, and, you know, you're happy. Then of course there's Fear Strike to counter that, and there's Leaping Blow to sort of not really be useful in this situation, as it's supposed to be like the closing distance longer range option, but also exists if your opponent is blocking from Mix Up. And if they're blocking, the mix is just like, do you want to go for Fear Strike to shatter them, which will sort of reset the situation in your favor? Do you want to go for Light Flurry or Stalwart Charge to just get the most hope? Fear Strike also probably shouldn't gain as much hope, it should probably be like 3 or even 2. And then you have, yeah, high hope situations where the attacker is at a huge advantage, and, or the person at high hope obviously is at a huge advantage, and you want to go for, you know, Fear Strike very often, because, you know, it beats a Light Flurry, and it becomes a big help. Alright, yeah, that works. Now, range 1 situation. Does it have an interesting rock, paper, scissors with this setup? The main options you have is Fear Strike, because it has range 1, and Leaping Blow, because it closes in the distance, if you are wanting to attack. With the current one, assuming you're at equal hope, they just clash. Which is that something I want with it? If not, I could give Fear Strike 1 slow, which would still have a beat out Stalwart Charge at equal hope. But then it becomes much more volatile if the one Stalwart Charging has more hope. Or give Leaping Blow. I'm not sure. Fairy scissors. I need to draw this, so I'm actually sure. Let me make a little diagram. So let's start off with okay, this works. So R equals 0, so range 0. And then once I put in the text editing, or I should probably make these D equals 0, D equals 1, D equals 2. And then instead of rock, paper, scissors, we're gonna do square, circle, oh god, circle, triangle. The square was too small. What the hell? And then I can select all of these. Need to move this like here. Alright, so distance 0. The most obvious answer, the square, is going to be L blurry. Need to make these smaller. Goodness. I just can't press Y for some reason. There's that. And then, what beats Light Flurry? Stalwart Charge. And what beats Stalwart Charge? Of course, Fierce Strike. Makes sense to me. And, well, I've realized this is only assuming even hope. Now this is uneven hope. Goodness. What is the symbol for even in math? I can't even remember. Or I guess I'll just use the equal symbol, right? There we go. So this is equal hope values. And this is when hope values are not equal. We need to do like left player advantage, right player advantage, or anything because, right, like it's just reversed. It's the same situation. So distance 0, Light Flurry. Let me also draw a little. This beats this, which beats it's beaten by this, and you know it goes up the whole way. in uneven situation, the whole thing with Fear Strike is that it is at a huge advantage. It is by far risk reward the best option. Let's give it a red fill for that reason. They still technically sort of Okay, so the interesting thing is for this situation is that Fear Strike beats both options in this situation in Uneven Hope, because assuming the hope is at an advantage of 4 or more, then even with the priority, the person with the most hope is going to be beating out the person with the least hope. And in that situation, if you're the person with the least hope, you probably want to go for Stalwart Charge, right? Because armor is great. You don't care about being slower. The point is that you're pretty much always going to be slower. It means if your opponent chooses Light Flurry to get the higher reward option for the higher risk, you're still going to beat them even if you're at an even hope. So Stalwart Charge is the better liked disadvantage player option, and I think from now on I'll be using that for this. For the disadvantage charge, the blue option is going to be the disadvantage option. Hello, GG Freak. This is a very weird part for someone to jump in on, but we are talking about possible rock paper scissors with a possible reworked version of the game. At distance 1, let's see how this works out. At distance 1, I think the most obvious, just straightforward answer to getting the most reward is Leaping Blow. Leaping Blow has combo, it hits at that range, it's great. You love Leaping Blow. So let me just get another text box. Instead of Light Flurry, it is Leaping Blow. Gives you the most combo. It is as fast as the other fastest option, because you're not gonna be able to hit Light Flurry at this range. And you love that. It's great. Well, what is the most obvious counter to Leaping Blow? I think that's Stalwart Charge again, right? That makes sense to me, because with Stalwart Charge, you're going to be slower than them. So on the reveal, they're going to move into you, they're going to try to hit you, gain 3 hope. But you can hit them backward and gain 5 hope. You have a better reward. You're just going to take damage, unfortunately. But Stalwart Charge is your boy. I'll make it a bit smaller. Stalwart Charge still allows you to counter Leaping Blow, which is good. I mean, it depends, because does combo work against armored right now? It does. Do I want it to work against armored? That is a good question, because if combo works against armored, then that means Leaping Blow just completely fucks up your thing. Completely, destroys your Stalwart Charge, because you're going to get comboed into oblivion. So it might be best to give Leaping Blow slow, so that you can be countered by Fear Strike. Or give Fear Strike priority. I'll give priority 1. Honestly, it might just be best if instead of adding these, sort of intrusive tags, I just give everything a speed value. Say I unmerge this, right? And instead of saying it's it has X priority or X slow, I just say, oh goodness, its speed is 2. So it adds 2 to your perceived hope when you reveal it, just like how priority works, right? That seems like it might be a cleaner way to do it. So in this case, it would be I unmerge these. Say Fear Strike is speed 2. Then Light Flurry is speed 5. I also forgot to change the font stuff. Speed 5. Speed 5. There we go. I put an L for some reason at the end. This also, I think, presents it as like how important it really is, because right now priority just being like a tag sort of undersells how important it is compared to other tags, because your priority is king. It is so important to how you like play the game. In that case, I can unmerge these and give Stalwart Charge a speed of 0. I can also go into negative speeds, of course, which, you know, fuck you up. I might not need to, because you know, slow 2 is already pretty intense. Yeah, sorry. The VOD will have a more accurate explanation, but I am going over some possible reworks to the Heaven or Hell system. For myself, or hell. Yes, I want to have the mechanics work with a possible new change that would make the game have a like turn-based initiative system that would allow you to take these lower risk actions up here without going into a full like combat, which I am calling the assault rules for now. And for this chart, you know, it's meant to show the how that would have to work out balance-wise. And I think Leaping Blow should have a speed of 1, because from what I'm looking at now, it looks like Leaping Blow has the best risk reward at range 1, even though it's supposed to be a range 2 option. So let's move this around, because clearly Fierce Strike is the fastest option at this range, which means that it is countered by still Stalwart Charge, I think, because you know, your Fierce Strike, get in. Or the issue is, I put, say I organize it this way, right? Leaping Blow, F Strike, there we go, and then leaping no, not leaping bow. What do I put down here in that case? Because okay, Leaping Blow, most sort of like high reward high risk option at this range. It lets you close into, so you can close into melee from this range and you can hit them, and it gives you a combo. It's wonderful. Issue is, Fierce Strike is faster and it will hit you out of it. It's not like Leaping Bow is armored or anything. Only solo priority formers as the tagging of it does this. You know, yes, I think that is part of why the speed is working out. Bomb out of dropping your DMs. Well, I'd rather you not do that if you're looking to like spam me or something. But if you have a question, you could ask. Yeah, that's fine. Goodness, I am not going to be able to go over this, unfortunately, 1 and 3 from the messages you sent. Look, Google on the stream. Yeah, I will go over this later, but it is far too much for me to do right now. But yeah. This is all like theoretical changes. I'm not saying that this is going to be going into like the next version or anything, or this is going to happen anytime soon. This is probably going to take at least 7 months to come out, because this is my second priority after Dawn, which will probably take me a few months to get finished. Even after the end of this month, which is the, you know, the, what do you call? It's the thing. I don't know, I can't. The Kickstarter, goodness, ends this month. And after that, I'm going to be putting all my time and effort pretty much into editing for Dawn. This is more so just because I wanted to do it. I like Heaven or Hell. I like writing for it and stuff. Want to take a look at it, see what I can do. But yeah. In this theoretical experimental change, I'm not sure what would serve as a counter to Fear Strike here. I guess because Stalwart Charge does work at this range for like taking hits if it was Leaping Blow, but Fear Strike has armor. So what do you do about that? Yeah, exactly. Sorry, for some reason there's this little like symbol in my chat viewer that covers up one of the words in your message C. So let me take another look at this. I don't, yeah, I think the speed thing could go into like the current version of Dawn, or not, oh my goodness, I'm talking about so many different games now. Into the current version of 2H without much issue, since it's just a way that it's just the way that the information is presented to the players. I think the speed change would be something that is genuinely like a good change for the game in general. The rest of these are very experimental, and I understand if people are not going to like them. If this was to come out, it would be a separate file from the original, especially for the first bit, to try to figure out the stuff, see if people like it, see what changes I can make to make it more likable for people, you know? Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to be working out this situation. Because it's not like, the way that I've seen other games do this is that they have attacks that only hit at this range, right? So, like, if you don't want to fuck with how F-Strike works in this triangle of effects and resolutions. Can I ask for this? Me? Oh, that was a bit rude. I like the way the other games resolve their things, and I wanted to see if I could convert it over. Yeah. Yeah. So I think I'd have to introduce a new technique if I wanted to finish up this triangle of effects. Yeah, I think the speed change is good. Even if I were to introduce a new thing, how would I even make it specific to this? I could have like a range specific parry or something, but that seems like it'd be silly. If I do have backstepping move, yeah, that would work. Because Leaping Blow has 2 effective range. Yeah, but that would be very strong with all the other things at range 1 too. I don't know. It's hard to figure out. All right. Uh, hmm. Well, I think I might just leave it there for today. Fortunately, I was not able to give you much because I was doing a stream for like an hour without any viewers because I didn't stream it properly. But yeah, I think that's all I'm interested in really showing for now. Goodbye.